words in the English language that I have had to rediscover is the word maturity. A very tough course in anthropology, cultural anthropology, helped me verify my suspicions that unworldly people steeped in dogma are not using the word properly. I was told as a child that I was acting immature, ungrown up. I've just about come to the conclusion that adultery is something we commit with full rations of adjustments, sometimes painful adjustments, that we make, and more important than the road that develops the world is the road that develops the mind. Maturity gives an appreciation of having made the trip. And there is a place on the road or level of maturity that recognizes and appreciates the unique differences that make individuality possible. In other words, people are different. And in fact, not only different, but except for expression and communication, they are isolated from each other, which is to say that quality people, quality experience are dependent on quality expression and quality or artful communication. And it sure does help when people are honest, when they are themselves, and they tell you about their losses, their risk, and they take risks that anticipate an intelligent listener. And they tell you about changes made inside. In this way, expression becomes art because it has integrity and contributes to meaningful social consciousness. Such is the poetry of Sandra Hoben, exploring, intellectually very deep, and tactful. Tactful in her social awareness, dialogue, and use of figure of speech that from time to time suggests the opposite, inviting the reader to use his memory with regard to reverse possibility. A dynamic that leaves the reader with a sense that they are free to choose, not so much from right or wrong, but choices that refer to mutual isolation and the possibilities for individuality, individually created freedom, which is worth much more than freedom given by political society. In other words, she often gets the job done in a way more appropriate than cussing. In other words, her poetry is tactful and mature. Another thing to pay attention to in Hoben's poetry, I think, is an enthusiastic and effective use of logic. Perhaps a style of logic, embellished with humor, anxiety, doubt, disillusionment, and growth in the human perspective. A logic freed from the usual inertia because it seems always to be touching what she writes about. The touching that brings the outside into a strong inner reality made from the sense and flow that interprets, reflects, even human activity. Her poetry is among the finest examples of touch, reflection, and inner reality. She's a native of Nantucket, somewhere in Connecticut, somewhere in the state. She received a BA from St. John's College in 1968. In 75, she earned an MA in English and Creative Writing from the California State University of Fresno. And in 1982, a PhD from the University of Utah. Her poems have appeared in prestigious journals, Ironwood, Partisan Review, Antioch Review, Western Humanities Review, Berkeley Review. She has a chapbook, Snowflowers, Westinghouse Press. She taught poetry for many years for the Marin Poets in the Schools program, and currently lives in Marin County with her husband, her 2-year-old son. She read here 5 years ago for the Poets Association, received many compliments, and we're glad to have her come back and read.
I'd like to start with some older poems, some of which I wrote when I was living in Fresno in the mid-70s. This first one, can you hear me? Is it working okay? It's about pennies. And when I wrote it, I didn't realize that they were an endangered species. I read recently that pennies were going to be recalled and replaced by silver dollars. But in the meantime, I think it was in the Wall Street Journal, so they should see that. Pennies. I live with the taste of copper. Thumbed, green, this coin was minted between wars. I hold its etched face. I try to keep it on the table or in my pocket, but it always ends up back here in my mouth, bitter and dirty. When people are here, it's here, and when they leave, it's here. Perhaps it has nothing to do with people. But when he walks in, hands in his pockets, silent, sneaky, still 12 years later, I could spit mouthfuls of pennies at him. But I know he'd spend them on himself and write, send and fall in love, send thank you. I grew up in an enormous 3-story house with 11 people living in it. And that house tends to reoccur in my dreams and in my poems. And I'd like to read a couple of poems about that place and about those people. The house moving at tremendous speed. My sister, in cotton pajamas, hair cropped, breasts unripe, is lying beside a drunk on an uncovered mattress on the floor. My mother stretches white organdy curtains onto a drawing frame. The tiny nails sting her fingers and swarm around her head. She looks down at the driveway rippling in the sun, the bees sucked in through the vent of this house, moving at tremendous speed. My grandmother is dying, the stairway unwinding like a rope swing twirled and let go. The room disappears, the walls blown inward like white curtains. The old woman moves down the stairs, china saucers for earrings, cabbages for slippers. She asks for something tart to drink and bangs on the floor. Potatoes spill out of the bins, eggs rattle back and forth on the floor. The roof blows off. Her nightdress flies across the sky like a spore. It's a familiar sound. Last time I read, I had my baby on my shoulder, so maybe I should offer to bring him up here and bring him on. Including me. Icicles. As the title of this poem, it's also the first word of the first sentence. Icicles, thick as arms, fringe the back roof. All this sunny afternoon, they thump against the ledge. The frame shakes a little. Suddenly, I'm back in the old house. My father's been drinking again. At the front door, he introduces me to my uncle, who's driven him home. Even drunk, the old man's proud and won't let me help him. So I spread my arms across the wide stairway, one hand brushing the flowered wallpaper, the other sliding along the banister, and follow him up the steps. His feet are off the ground, his ribs pivoting on the slick railing. His white shirt tears in my hands. In the well, he balances perfectly on the wispy white hair. He used to do these headstands for us on the thick rug in the hall. We'd scramble for the quarters fallen. He flips over on his back and looks up at me, vacantly, but with recognition, as I look today over the bare trees into a spiral of broken icicles, white and blue. This is another one that my grandmother appears, and my great-grandmother actually. She was a scullery maid before she came to live with us, and she was a wonderful potato peeler. She wouldn't go near any of these newfangled peelers. She would use a paring knife, as was proper, and could get the entire skin off without breaking it in one wonderful motion. It's called Hanzlicek, which is the name of the folk dance. We hold hands, basket weave, arms crossed along each other's chests, and sail to the left. Often I miss the steps, lead with the wrong foot, or can't get the little hops. If I look straight ahead at the white wall, I feel inside me a stillness I've known before. We turn, the circle widens. To my left, an old woman dressed in the absence of light. I think of my grandmother in Dublin, her small feet in solid black shoes, who could peel a potato, never lifting the knife from the root. And one more from the chapbook, and it's a poem about a cat, and I think I'll move from that into some other animal poems, which I continue to write. Called The Night Left Behind. I take the chimney cat, gray and curled in the boat-shaped bucket of ashes. Nearly grown, he's never been outside. He thinks the stars, claw marks on a dark curtain. I carry him to the canopy of trees, and he jumps into the sloping branch of the river bush and is gone. At dawn, I stumble from a warm bed to call his name. Sky, fences, trees, the whole world is gray. Tail first, quill, eyes green as leaves, then shoulder, paw, finally the tucked-in claws. I pick him up a little too quickly. The fur behind his ears hasn't returned. 2 bare stars, the night left behind. And one more poem from when I was living in Fresno. It comes from a story I heard about a child's pet pig being butchered and fed the family without the children being informed that they were eating their pet. I don't know if they ever discovered it, but it struck me as something special, awful. It kind of reminded me of the Greek myths where the goddesses kill the children and feed them to the husband without telling the husband what they're eating. And the thing that the Greeks seemed so appalled with was not that the fathers were eating their children, but that they weren't told that they were eating their children, which is maybe a valid point. The pet. The you in the poem is a young girl and it's about a pig. The pet. You named the little male Wilbur. As he grew, his back sagged like old stairs his mother had stepped on. Finally, he lay all day, head in his food bin, tail in his ship. They had to have the butcher come, and he came early, knocking on the shuttered window with his cleaver. Mama frowned and spread her spotted apron on her face. In a yellow-flowered room, you pull on your socks and close the dressing drawer. Across the field, Wilbur hangs by his toes, letting his flesh bleach. If it's time for school, walk down the drive between the pines. The school bus will be a fountain of blood. Your friends' heads will be closed eyes, open mouths, split nostrils. You'll run, circling the house, your breath stolen. Ask, she'll say gone. If you look for someone to feed your salad to, look in the oven, the freezer, look in your fingernails and your hair. This is one about the ducks in Golden Gate Park. kind of watching the ducks. And we use him on the end of Yates's Leader and the Swan, where he asks, did she put on his knowledge with his power before the indifferent beak would let her drop? And I never came up with an answer to that question, but I began to wonder about some other things. It seemed to me that if a god took on the body of a swan, once that god was in that body, he'd have to obey the rules of swandom and not step back out as long as he was in that swan. And this is the poem that came out of that. Leader and the Swan. It so happened she wasn't totally averse to the situation. She was walking along the marshy edge of the pond, glad to be away from the company of men. She noticed things that had escaped her for months. The ducks with brown and white feathers, uniform as men in tweed suits, and others a flash of emeralds in the throat. She'd been told that with birds, the male wears rouge and diamonds. How do they do it? A pillow fight when the seam suddenly rips, and at other time more like fish, swimming past each other, never touching. Engrossed as she was, she didn't notice the swan gliding up to her, his wings held heart-shaped, one foot cocked over his back, the other a rudder. Then he stood in front of her, stuck out his belly and flapped his wings, drew himself up to his full bird height. A bit ridiculous, but he had no choice. She lifted her arms, and he was in them. And this is another from downtown San Francisco home about a friend of mine who's a photographer. The first building. Walking back from lunch, an hour with a booking sun, I'm stopped by a reel of fire engines curling around the building where my friend works. The faces of the crowd point to the shutters of her window 10 stories up, where black chemical smoke unravels into the sky. I still haven't seen my friend. Beside me, she snaps a roll of film into her camera, her hair like fire in dry leaves in the sun. She, who works with the speed of light, moves slowly out of the building deliberately. She is telling me about it and winding the film. It jams. She misses the ladder to heaven, the fireman powdered with clouds, her boss in his shirt sleeves, beneath the gold leaf of his name, shaking hands with the fire chief. And this is a poem about a movie, and it's the only poem I've written about a movie. I've attempted at this, but this is one that I held on to. It's about Badlands by Terrence Malick, and about two psychopathic teenagers on the lam, but very well done, better than more recent movies about psychopathic teenagers. Really recently, I've seen Badlands. I could understand the man who looked like James Dean plugging his friend, then scolding the corpse for the stolen trinket on the dresser. I could understand the shadowed window, whole as a spider web, and the gasoline poured on the house to make it run. But the woman who told the story was a mystery. She glanced at her father's house blooming like a yellow rose, her father a red rose, a baby's breath of strangers, and curled her hair. She carried numbness like a tray full of drinks. He lost his nerve when he lost her, a charm he held in his pocket. With her long legs and long silences, she brought him luck like the evening star. One thing that I've been writing about in the last few years is my son, and pregnancy and birth. I was there before my son was there. I'd like to read some of those now. His first one is about having a sonogram at the University of California, which seemed to me something that would be just awful and invasive, and these, trails and trainloads of residents coming in and walking back out. It turned out to be a rather joyful experience at the University of California, San Francisco. On the monitor, I see a circle. That's the head, he says. Then he takes me past the canopy of ribs, the heart below beating in gray waves, down the steps of the spine to the thigh bones in Buddha position. I thought it would be a picture a child might draw. A head with torso, 2 arms, legs, a stick figure whose fingers I could count. But in this museum of modern art, someone has placed a circle, a square, overlapping fluid, a canvas impossible to take in the way a Bruegel landscape, for instance. Even Icarus, with its single upside-down foot in the corner, can be taken in. Then across the screen floats a hand, skeletal, long and bony, like my own hands, or the green outlines of my feet I'd watch in shoe store X-ray machines as a child. Without gifts, they'd come for this early glimpse. 3 women from around the world. The black practitioner who calls out numbers, the young blonde physician from Budapest, quiet in her bright clothes, the shiny-faced doctor from China who looks in my eyes and says words I can't place. They're here to pray and witness the miracle. Whatever science reasons they wrote on their visas, they've forgotten. As a hand rises on the horizon, and they exclaim, wave back, at the ship slipping slowly into port, its papers in order. And this is about seeing the mouse figures, which is important first, called Marx. Why are so many poets writing down rhyme, she asked. Because it's different, he tells her. My hostess sees my eyes widen as they scan the kitchen baseboard behind her. So light at its feet it seems not to have them. A moth, perhaps, hovering. Yes, the books say, a birthmark for every mouse you see. This first one's on me. A mole shaped like a rattle shakes on my belly and leaves the world changed as the mouse left me changed, and the child, and the conversation. And this is about something I imagine that every woman that's carried a child has gone through, but it seemed like I was probably the first woman to ever feel so much anxiety about would this child come out all right, would everything, would he, have all of his fingers and toes and be as perfect as I wanted him to be. It's called prayer. Though I say I don't believe in God, I don't doubt the efficacy of prayer. St. Anthony, for instance, helped me find this lost journal moments after I uttered his name, and the Holy Spirit, even when I was in grammar school, would stop the spinning bottle and point it at the boy I loved. Last night, in my 9th month, I lay worrying about each line and lash, the breath and spirit of my making that can't be revised. I thought to get up and kneel once more at the side of my bed, but a light hand pushed me back, like my friend motioning me to stay at the table while she clears the dishes, or the clerk at the grocery store saying, let me get that. Two more poems. This is about my son in his 3rd month. I had these books that told me what would happen each month, and sure enough, it was like he was reading right before I did, but it did all perfectly on time. And for the 3rd month, they said he will discover shadows. In the 3rd month, he discovered shadows. Like the inhabitants of Plato's cave. Like the inhabitants of Plato's cave, my son in his 3rd month is more interested in the shadow of his hands than in his hands themselves. He holds them up to the light and watches the dark shapes form as creatures march to join him, facing forward, some whirling and formed. Once in the beginning, my milk gave out, and he cried all day for the pain and injustice I brought him to. That night I curled around him. He turned inside me once again, and we rocked. The lamp burned behind us. 2 Indonesian puppets cast on the wall. But tonight when he cries, I give the pram a shake and flip through his birth pictures, those images of him naked and streaked with my blood, throwing open his arms and all his fingers against the harsh light. It calms me, and therefore him, to try to make out the figures. The nurse's arm like a branch shading him, the doctor's face as the scale tips. Then they stapled shut the slash across my belly with little hinges, holding the rest of the dark inside me. I'm not sure I can get away with this next poem, but I'll try it. One of the things that's amazed me is to watch language develop in a child, and in the last couple of months, to watch him use metaphors and similes to name things, because he doesn't know the name of everything. So he'll transfer names and give things qualities, because he has a limited vocabulary and so many new experiences, unlike most of us. Maybe limited experiences and too much vocabulary. It's called Two. At 2, he's a poet. He works the jaws with green plastic pliers. Alligator, he asks. Among the dull pebbles at the beach, he finds my pewter necklace and picks up in the yard a shard of terracotta pot, its thick lip and tapering tail, and announces, Dad's penis. My son moves through a world where things fall apart. Into the ark of his toolbox, he packs 2 winged lions, 2 lizards, 2 camels, and sets out to find what each of us has lost, to give it back again. Something that I've been writing for the last several years is prose poems, or maybe just prose pieces, I'm not always sure. And I'd like to read some of those now. This first one also deals with pregnancy more on a musing basis, and also with the fact that my father was a professional baseball player, which drives me to always watch the series in October. Except last year I did give up on it. Can't do the third game. It's called Stadium. For weeks I've been musing on the variety of individuals, wondering how it is that we're all different. The 7 children from my family, for instance. So little to work with for one set of dishes split up. How could my mother offer something new to each child? This morning I've been studying my college textbook, but the information is sketchy, the pictures blurred. Still, I think I understand. Think of it as a baseball team, the starting lineup. The strand from my belly we'll call the New York Mets, from his the Boston Red Sox. The Mets meet the Sox in the zygote and a new being is formed. What's an umpire to do? What are the rules here? Sometimes it goes awry. A team composed entirely of relief pitchers, designated hitters, never make the majors. Or that 1 in a million fluke, umpires spilling in the field and the stands, spilling out into the arteries of the city. But with luck, new teams assemble, each complete, integral, a mixture of many drafts. So in each of my eggs, slightly different players, repeated with variations like a few, and in the belly of the child inside me. Inside of her, my father is sitting on a bench, blowing on his hands, staring out at the dark stadium, the after image from the grid of lights. And a few more animals are coming up. It's called Congress of Dogs, and it came from trying to train a rather stubborn Malamute timber wolf mix, and listening to a lot of the Iran-Contra hearings, and I somehow had to get these 2 things together in one time. I don't know what's going to happen this fall. The dog has puppies, and there'll be something else on television integrated to that. It's called the Congress of Dogs. Make her sit, the trainer tells me, and presses on her haunches, which dip down like a girl entering church. But there's no anchor weighing down those legs. She's a seesaw resting a moment before the other child pushes off. She has neither the hair shape of waiting nor the sphinx shape of anticipation. Though the ruff of her butt touches the ground, she's not sitting. She's standing with her tail on the ground. It's impossible to make this dog sit, for even as she appears to, she stands, her ghost self like an amputated limb, hovering parallel to the ground. Here, he says, snapping the lead, make her lie down, then step on the leash, make her stay down. I am left with the shell of a dog, flattened like a roadkill. I stop jerking the leash, pulling on the collar, neither of which is dog. I pet her silky ears. I brought her here to cities, cars, guns, lured by my food, penned by my fences, chained, collared, but not fooled. She'll be nobody's good dog. She'll paw open the French doors, dig under the post, climb the chain link, rip out the chicken wire, chew through the leash, jump off the pickup, and bolt. I know now I'll never make her do anything. I'll suggest things. She'll vote. I'll bribe her. She'll indict. In the Congress of Dogs, she's minority whip. She'll filibuster, negotiate, compromise. I'll veto. Together we'll make history. I'll speak softly. She'll carry a big stick. She's now pregnant, so if anybody wants a puppy, or if anybody wants a pregnant dog, it's careless love. Gopher. Had a lot of good advice on how to get rid of gophers, but I didn't take it. This is what ensued. Gopher. I've never seen him with his fur-lined purses filled with coins of dirt, though we've been neighbors for years, rich neighbors who don't like each other and keep to ourselves. Even when patches of grass turned gold in early summer, dirt banked against the fence, I turned the other way. But now, in August, when the tomatoes have swollen and begun to pull their color from the sun, and the basil has captured the smell of the earth, he is burrowing under the rows, untying each package before the earth has finished wrapping it. He is smashing the light bulbs burning in the tight petals of the marigolds, devouring from within the stars of jasmine. I was weeping when the ground began to swell beneath my bare feet. It made me feel sick and afraid, the earth shaking out its fur like an animal, pelt of peat moss and bark. That's when I saw them, the long trails, the tunnels and freeways of gopher winding through the garden, the one place I wouldn't have them. I took a shovel and raised it up and stabbed the earth with it again and again, until my fingers tore and I came back to myself, inside the fence of my own skin. He is down there burrowing, eating the soft, tear-shaped roots, eyes closed against the wet earth, mouth and cheeks full of dirt, earth in his bowels and under his claws that shine like the husk of the moon. He breathes. Now nothing moves in the garden except the wilted leaves of the tomato. But past the oak, where the yard widens and grows wild, a new vault opens. He is there, laboring painfully, one paw maimed, the moon broken in rough water. This is a poem about parallel lines and about the two different schools of thought, one being that they never meet, and the other being that they meet in infinity, and the fact being that they do neither or both. Parallel lines. By definition, parallel lines never meet. This fact makes it possible for bird cages to exist, and jails of all sorts, railroad tracks, picture frames, directors' chairs. And we can walk to the store and back, water the garden, watch the shadows lengthen on the lawn. But parallel lines meet at infinity, which makes it possible to get to Chicago, build fires, tame animals. And we have egg beaters, hammocks, the hulls of ships. We can tune banjos, swim, read books more than once. Folk dance can be passed down and rings. If parallel lines meet at infinity, it is also true they never meet. Conversely, if they do not meet at infinity, it is also not true they never meet. And so we are lonely and confused. Our dreams have points in them. Our pets die. There are eclipses, earthquakes, falling stars. And although we can see the spiral within shells and the delicate double circle within flowers, we will never understand what we already know. And even if we did, there would be nothing we could do about it. And a love poem. A shore break is where the waves break towards the shore. There's a further break farther out to sea. The permanent collection. When you enter the museum, your face changes. It's a water change that comes over you, as when you swim out past the shore break and the brown seals appear at your side. Relaxed yet attentive, you settle into that uncertainty as comfortably as if it were an overstuffed chair covered with flowers the size of hands. The same way that sometimes you enter the museum of my body, the permanent collection. I'll read two more poems. This one returns to the house that I kind of began with. And it came from, I stopped smoking about 20 years ago. And one of the ways I did it was I would dream all night long that I was smoking. For about 10 years, I just smoked, 8 or 10 hours a night, and I took care of it. But it had certain drawbacks that I've discovered since. It's called straightening up. Many years ago, in order to stop smoking, I took it up in my dreams. All night I'd chain smoke, no matter what other dream work I did, sleepwalking through the old house, its spiral staircases, or spinning out of control in a car, cigarette between my lips, the paper stuck. I'd half wake, my heart a stone, thinking I'd given in, until I surfaced into my body, smelling of clover. But now the endless rooms of my dreams are strewn with ashtrays. No one emptied them. Cut glass ones with thick bottoms and pool table corners, tall metal cylinders outside each elevator, little plaid bean bags with scorched bars across the top, all full of butts, yellowed filters, pink lip prints. Late last night, I saw a woman poking through one as if she were shopping at a garage sale. At first, I didn't recognize her. Her hair gray and pulled back, thin, spinsterish. Though she was alone, I had the impression of a group she belonged to, and that they would all be dressed alike, inmates of a prison or doctors coming out of surgery. She seemed embarrassed to have me walk in on her bent over the table, stirring up the smell of fire and urine. I treated her like a maid, asked why these pockets weren't emptied. I could fire her and give the room above the kitchen to someone else. Then I saw the look in her eyes, the shame. When I was a child, my great-grandmother worked for us, hired by my mother away from the local hotel. The old woman would enter the living room only after dinner to ask if my parents were through with the paper. Sometimes the answer was no, and she'd go to bed without the news. Now, I've hired my mother to clean these rooms. The air blue and swirling, the carpets, their once bright birds and graves covered with dust, the wallpaper curling away in huge sheets, like a page in a book, the corner bent back so you can find your place. This last one is about a Catholic education and not being able to spell, and the nun's advice on that pretty much being pray. Which didn't work too well, so I found ways to deal with it. It's called the Ark. I climbed the fire escape to the back door of the 4th grade, the asphalt field empty of shouts. In dreams, that same deserted playground, running towards it without my shoes. The sisters, their dark beads tied at the waist, can't see well enough to correct long division. I write smaller and smaller until the numbers are tiny nudes descending their stairs. Necessary, successful. No matter how hard I try, the letters come out backwards, upside down, strewn in random order across the chaos before creation. For hours, Sister Hilda tells her story about the ark, the water rising over the front doors, over the rooftops, over the telephone poles themselves. The smell of talcum, the indistinct murmur as he listens to the confession from the other side, then the profile behind the latticed window. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. How can I confess to the school principal that I cheat on Sister's spelling tests, or that in the basement I let Timmy Curtin pull my cotton panties down to my knees? The confession themselves became sins, as did the taking of communion while in sin, the light streaming through the high, stained glass windows, the saints in purple shrouds for Lent, incense of holy water, the Mass still in Latin, Kyrie eleison, Christe eleison. I remember the day everything changed. Soon afterwards, the small epiphany of I before E except after C, or what sounded like A as a neighboring way and in. It was spring, the dogwood in bloom, the French doors open. My older brother and I were sitting on the blue couch. He was telling me about Darwin. We came from H, science had proved it. A mugginess went out of the air. The birds' songs grew clearer in this paradise I didn't have to die to inherit. The world made sense, and for the first time, there was no resistance in me. No courtrooms, no votes on the Senate floor to repress the voyage of the Beagle, Darwin's own ark, that sailed, like Noah's, before there were phone lines, before all my confessions became public.